first, he's the flamboyant, dead or alive singer who recently...
Hi!
How you doing?
Hi, I'm Pete. But very often people look at music and look at the performer. We're just lucky, and I would do this whether I was a performer or not. I would look the same way. I do not look this way to please the audience. I do it to please myself. If somebody doesn't want to do this, doesn't want to look flamboyant and make a spectacle of themselves, that's their choice. It's about freedom of choice.
I mean, on one hand, you do dance music and you're expected to be a very expected to be a very flamboyant pop personality, which is really not what I am.
Yeah, because you actually look like you should be a flamboyant pop personality, but you are quite a quiet, mischievous guy, aren't you?
Very quiet.
Yeah, what about the mischievous, Pete?
Well, you know, mischief, but that comes outside of work, really. I have two different things. There's work and there's private life.
Yeah, I mean,
because of my outward appearance, everyone expects me to be a particularly flamboyant person, and it's really a contradiction in terms. Really.
Yeah.
Ian McCulloch and Julian Cope and things weren't really my peers. In fact, they tried to sabotage any start to a career I might have had because I was so flamboyant, and they were very threatened by that.
You posed a threat to their
Yeah,
status.
and I didn't have a clue why.
Yeah.
That was just what I was, you know.
I couldn't get Liverpool musicians to work with me because even down to the days the Mystery Girls, Julian Cope would say, "Oh, I know, I've got a really good idea. You stand at the back with a blanket over your head and, you know, I'll stand at the front," because they didn't want people to look at me. They just couldn't stand the fact I was so fucking glamorous.
The flamboyance that would become apparent later on, though, did that happen quite early on for you, do you think? Or?
Yeah, I think very early on, but it was never perceived as flamboyance. It was a creative process. I have a much older brother who was much more academically educated than I was because I was not interested in going to school. There wasn't enough art classes and things like that, so my art was myself.
And I was allowed to grow up with a lot of self-expression. I mean, I didn't go to school in the normal way that kids go to. I wasn't put into school till I was about 7. I was taken out when I was about 11 because it wasn't good for me. I was just encouraged to, you know, I was always given paints and things to make and stuff like that, and you know, that expands to doing it to yourself. And I had no idea of what was right and wrong, or what was acceptable and what wasn't, or the connotations of dressing up strangely. It was something that was encouraged from childhood when I moved. But then I have a strange perspective. I didn't just become flamboyant when I was in the charts. I was like that from 13 years of age. You have to be quite a strong man to do what I do day to day. I'm like this round the clock, and I have been since I was probably 13 years old.